here's Ed Bernstein.
Hi, welcome to our show. With me today is Las Vegas City Councilman Steve Ross, and a little bit later in the show, Justice Court Judge Melissa Zaragoza, who I understand you just met.
I did.
And we're impressed because she had this whole military background.
Very
right?
impressed with this young lady, yeah, and one of our Justice Court judges as well.
You know, Steve, you know, everything you put on television, you watch CNN, Fox, and all these other news channels, and all you hear about is what's going on national politics. But I've learned over the years that what affects my life more than who wins the presidency is who our local officials are. For instance, we have a judge coming on. You know, if you walk into a courtroom, that judge is the most important person in your life, right? If you have a dispute in a courtroom. If you have a matter before the city council, I mean, what affects your life more than a vote of a city councilman?
Well, interesting enough, this is where the rubber meets the road. Local government is where we really affect people's everyday lives. Whether you're in the courtroom with a judge or whether you're before the city council or county commission. And if you look at Congress and the United States Senate and see how much gridlock has taken place just over the past several years, certainly during the Obama administration and all that nothing going on, that would be very frustrating to me as a local public servant because I like to get things done. I'll see you at the grocery store and you'll talk to me about issues that are affecting you in the neighborhood. And that's what I like to do is get those issues addressed and make your life a better place to be.
Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with every pothole in front of anybody's house. But, you know, you sit there, you know, you have a board, you know, it's much smaller than a congressional body, but you still have to compromise and work and negotiate with the people that you serve with in a city council, right?
And interestingly enough, Ed, that you say that, we've got a pretty good makeup of a city council. You know, Mayor Carolyn Goodman, heart and soul into this city, as well as her husband, who I served with for 6 years before he was termed out. Likewise with the other council members, they're very dedicated to their respective wards. They understand the issues that are going on, and we work collectively to address those. And even though I represent the Great Northwest or Centennial Hills and the northwest side of town, I'm still concerned about what happens downtown, what happens in wards 1, 3, and 5, or 2 and 4 as well in the Summerlin and west side of town. So that's my view of it, and I think that collectively all of us kind of do the same thing.
How do you reconcile that issue if you have something going on in your ward and that also affects the entire city, and you have this, you know, dichotomy of, hey, am I working for the entire city? Am I only working for my ward, or am I using my best judgment independently to make a decision? How do you balance all that?
You kind of have to do both, and I'll use a good example. One of the most significant project in the city of Las Vegas right now is Sky Canyon. 9,000 home master plan community. There'll be a gaming overlay district. There'll be some commercial and retail areas. That is the most significant project.
And where exactly is that?
That is at Sky Canyon Park and US 95, formerly Horse Drive and US 95. Okay. So it's on the far northwest edge of town. That's a significant project, and my colleagues at the City Council, they are interested in how that project affects them because it's, number one, tax base, but it's also job creation. So if we are supporting development and helping projects get started, we're supporting that job base as well. And it's great for me to see, when especially controversial items in Ward 6 or in Centennial Hills, that my colleagues actually do their homework. Councilman Coffin will actually drive out to the Northwest and take a look at what the controversy item is. Councilman Beers does the same thing. That means a great deal to me because they take a genuine concern about what's happening not only in their respective wards, but in my ward as well. And I'll do the same for theirs.
One of the things I know you've been working on is some of the solar energy, which recently has been in the news because there's been some attempted changes. Correct me if I'm wrong, by Nevada Power wanted to make some changes. They got some pushback. And can you explain what happened and where we are?
You bet. It was actually the Public Utilities Commission that is appointed by the governor of the state. He appoints those members of the Public Utilities Commission. You know, Southern Nevada should be the solar industry leader, and at the City of Las Vegas, we've been very aggressive with our sustainability initiative. In fact, by the end of this year, in fact, probably sooner, we will be 100% renewable energy on every city facility in the City of Las Vegas, and that's an agreement we have with NV Energy for a big solar field that's being built in the El Dorado Valley. That says volumes. But we've also worked very hard on renewable energy systems for our vehicles. We've got photovoltaic panels on almost all of our facilities. If you go to City Hall, you'll see the trees out in front of City Hall. Those are solar trees. We've worked very hard. So we've made a statement that Las Vegas wants to be the sustainability leader in the world. And all of a sudden, as solar is just gaining momentum and jobs are being created and people are putting rooftop solar on and businesses have solar on, all of a sudden the Public Utilities Commission says, oh, stop. We're going to raise your rates.
And it takes an investment by a private party, right, to make an investment to get the, the right solar apparatus to hang on your roof.
You bet, and there have been several solar companies that have sprouted up because of this emerging industry in Southern Nevada. And for the Public Utilities Commission to pull the rug right out from underneath them and tell consumers like me and you, sorry, we're going to charge you more money, we were just kidding. In regards to what we're trying to do to begin with. That's the wrong message to send. Yeah. So in the city of Las Vegas, I'm sponsoring an ordinance that will create an energy improvement district that will allow consumers, both residential and commercial, to continue to invest in solar. An energy improvement district will be a long-term note similar to a special improvement district or a 20-year loan, and it will be attached to the property, not to the individual. It's funny, since I did a press conference several weeks ago about doing this, we've had private equity investors and local banks come to us and say, hey, we want to participate in the program.
So how exactly does it work? If I want to buy a home in this district, I pay a little bit, I pay a fee, an annual fee to be in that district?
Well, let's talk about your mortgage. Simple understanding of a mortgage. You have a mortgage, and then you want to put a 5 or 10K system on your roof to create solar energy and get you off the grid, essentially. You would also then go into a long-term note, either with the public or private entity, or just with the public entity, the City of Las Vegas, for that 20-year loan to pay off that debt.
Okay.
At the same time, you're getting yourself, you're shrinking your carbon footprint, but there are new products coming online as well. There are going to be storage systems that you can actually put in your garage that will store the energy, that will allow you within, I'm guessing within the next 5 years, to actually take yourself entirely off the grid. We, as consumers of this generation, are expecting our energy to come from multiple sources, and we want to have those choices.
So this ultimately, over that 20-year period, is going to save me a lot of money?
Save you a lot of money. Again, though, saving the environment too. Now, here's the Boy Scout in me, right?
Okay. We're
We're trying to do the right thing for the environment. We're trying to get away from those coal-powered generation plants. NV Energy certainly it's doing its part in regards to creating a larger footprint of renewable resources for themselves as well. So we've partnered with them in the long-term investment for the City of Las Vegas facilities. But we're making a statement here to the rest of the world. Who wants to be the leader in solar, in the solar industry? Las Vegas, Southern Nevada wants to be that leader, and we should be.
I know that you have an election coming up. You're running for the County Commission, which encompasses your district as well as some other areas,
You
right?
bet.
How's the county doing on this issue of solar energy?
They're not doing anything with it. And it's interesting. I did catch the attention of Mayor Pro Tem Cam Walker in Boulder City because they get it. And what I'm hoping is, if the City of Las Vegas can create a successful model, the other local governments will jump on board. One thing for me, and a big reason why I'm running for County Commission, the county should be assisting and supporting municipalities within its borders. And currently that's not the case. And it's unfortunate. We've got some good people who serve on the County Commission, but I think that whole paradigm, that whole perspective of what the county government is supposed to be doing in regards to the 5 municipalities within its borders.
How is a city election different than a county election?
It's quite different, and I say that because in a city election, it's a nonpartisan race. So council members and the mayor, they run for election at large, and every political denomination or political affiliation can vote for them. The county commission race is a partisan race. So you have a Democrat in the primary, you have a Republican in the primary, you have a Democrat and Republican in the general election. So that's the big difference. Fortunately, I've represented Centennial Hills for several years now. My wife Kelly and I are very active in that community, the big events I do on an annual basis. The district does go into North Las Vegas and all the way out to Mesquite, which I've got some great and wonderful friends in Mesquite who are helping with the campaign as well. So we're looking forward to a victory.
Which way do you prefer to run, with the partisan or nonpartisan standards?
It's funny because my wife Kelly ran for state senate, and that was a very partisan race. So I got to see firsthand how she handled that race. It's quite different for me. The strategy is different. The targeting is different, but this will be the most fun campaign I've ever been in, and I'm looking forward to winning.
Do you see a change happening nationally with parties in general? I mean, with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton kind of polarizing the Democratic side and Trump polarizing the Republican side. Do you ultimately see a time where there's going to be either multiple parties or different parties than we have today?
Well, Ed, you and I have been in politics for a long time, and I've always anticipated that. I think you probably have too, in the years past, anticipated more parties and more factions. It scares me to an extent, the far right and the far left, when most of us as Americans and people in this community are more in the middle, and trying to just make the best things happen for our families and for our businesses. What scares me is a sad commentary that is the Trump movement. That's a scary proposition to me because of the messages that campaign clearly sends out. In regards to Hillary and Bernie, those are normal Democratic issues, and if I got the chance to hear Bernie Sanders speak, and he was great on hitting every Democratic ideal in his 30-minute speech. He didn't skip a beat, so he was well polished and ready to give that speech. But I think it'll send volumes. I think this is a good way for the country to look inside itself introspectively and say, what do we really represent as Americans?
Yeah, but it seems like that moderate central voice that you're referring to is just not speaking.
Well, it's never been the loud voice. And like I said, you and I have been doing this a long time. It's never been that loud voice, but it is the voice of common sense. So you have the loud factions on the left and on the right screaming out their names. So it's difficult to deal with. It also turns a lot of people off. They just get numb to it and say, I've had enough. I'm going to go coach my baseball team, my little kid's baseball team, and move on. And that's sad because we want to encourage people to vote. We want to encourage them to be part of the political process. The individual that doesn't vote and then complains about his or her representation doesn't have much to stand on.
You've not been a politician your whole. In fact, I still really don't consider you a politician now because you do have a private life and a real life, and just kind of a blue collar guy, right?
Well, I'm a IBW electrician. I'm a construction worker, so I had the privilege of raising my children that way. I've got 5 children and 14 grandchildren, and we don't stop out there. My family just keeps on moving, and I'm not much of a politician. And maybe when I told my father years ago that I was going to go into public office, he said, "You'll be a failure in public life." And I said, "Dad, why would you tell me that?" Right. He said, "Because you're too honest." Well, I believe that's how public service should be. If I'm going to ask you for your vote, you should dang well expect me to represent your interests and do what I can for you and your family and your neighborhood. And I would expect that of every elected official in Southern Nevada.
Hey, Councilman Ross, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I bet I can't close any better than that, right? It sounded to me like an acceptance speech.
Thanks, Ed. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. We'll be right back with Judge Melissa Zaragoza.